Assalamu alaikum everyone, myself Hafiz Abdul Aziz. Welcome to Language Learners. As you can see on the screen that today's topic is the 7 C's of effective communication. We all do the communication every day. Whenever we meet someone, we do the communication, oral one and the written one as well. But this lecture is going to help you in order to make your communication effective and better than before. Okay, so without wasting any more time, let's move to the next slide. Let's see what do we have first. Okay, so why do we say the 7 C's? The reason behind that is there are 7 rules, and each rule start with the alphabet C. As you can see on the screen, the completeness, correctness, clarity, courtesy, conciseness, consideration, and correctness. So all these, if we implement all of them in our communication, so then we can improve our, you can say, the effectiveness. Let's move on to the next slide. If I talk about completeness, okay, so as you can see introduction on the screen. So in the beginning, I would like to say that these are the objectives of today's lecture. That after this lecture, you are gonna learn that how can you make your written and oral communication effective and better than before. Next one is principle provide guideline for choice of content and style of presentation adapted to purpose and receiver of your message. Okay, so let's move on to the conceptual one. Okay, 7 C's of effective communication is going to start with completeness. As you can see on the screen, I want you, okay, so let's read the message first, what they want to deliver. Business message is complete when it contains all facts the reader or listener needs for the reaction you desire. As you strive for completeness, keep the following guidelines in mind. Okay, so these three are the main thing that you should keep it in your mind. That says, provide all necessary information, answer all asked questions, give some extra information when it is required or desirable. The main purpose, if I would like to conclude the whole, you can say, slide, then I would say, whenever you write a single sentence, just read it again, ask yourself, is it complete? Does it give a complete sense, or does it need any new words? Okay, so ask yourself, is there anything missing? It can be a helping verb, it can be a verb, it can be, you can say, any subject or object or any kind of adjective. So whenever you write any sentence, any paragraph, I want you to read it again and ask this question from yourself. Okay, so let's move on to the next point. Okay, so the next point is conciseness. As you can see on the screen, if I talk about the definition, then it says it means to be point, not brief, in fewest possible words or relevant according to the subject matter. Come on, definition ही मैंने गलत पढ़ दी, मुझे definition नहीं आती. I just teach it as I know. मैं अपने accordingly usually deliver करता हूँ. I do not do the reading thing. Reading करता भी हूँ तो मैं अपने wording में कर देता हूँ. When it comes to recording, so मुझे reading भी as it is करनी पड़ेगी. I know that, so I'm gonna continue again. Okay, so as you can see on the screen, the next point is conciseness. If I talk about the definition, then it says it means to be point, not brief, but in fewest possible words or relevant according to the subject matter. Okay, so everything has some benefits as well as disadvantages. So if I talk about the benefits, then it contains save time and expense, increase repetition by not cluttering their professional's life. Okay, so if I give you some examples related to conciseness other than this slide, then just imagine that you are writing an application to your principal. So just imagine there are 1000 students at your school, and if I talk about the average, then 100 to 150 students are absent. And just imagine that 80 students have sent their leave application to the principal. So just think, does how much time does he have? The average school time is 8 o'clock to 2 o'clock. Principal usually comes at 10 o'clock. So he comes at 10 o'clock and it goes till 2 o'clock. So in 4 hours, he has to attend some meetings, go do some rounds, and he doesn't have that much time in order to read your long paragraphs that you would have written in your application. So that is why in these kind of moments when we have to write for the person who doesn't have that much time to read, then we go with the concise writing. Okay, so sometimes whenever we are talking to our parents, they usually say, we are not interested in your stories, just come to the point. So in conciseness, we just come to the point. We do not talk about here and there, what happened before or what is going to happen after that. Okay, so it was all about conciseness. So let's move on to the next slide. Let's see what do we have there. Okay, next one is consideration. As we said earlier, when we are talking to anybody, we consider him or herself. If we are talking to mom, we are a little bit, you can say, informal. When we are talking to our dad, he is a kind of personality. If we are not at all, he has some anger issues, then we go with the formal one, respectable, the most respectable one. So same as when we are talking with our teachers, we also show respect over there. When we're talking to a policeman, or there is, it can be your boss or something like that. So we consider the other person, then we talk accordingly. So when we are talking to a kid, a toddler, so although we do not understand him and he doesn't understand us, but what do? We started talking to him like "Ale mera palache baby, come here" and all that. So this thing, what is it? It is a consideration. We consider ourselves that I am gonna talk to a kid, so I am going to change my whole vocabulary and accent according to that. So just imagine I can speak English more fluently than this, but what is going to happen then? You are unable to understand my voice, my accent. So that is why I am speaking a little bit slowly so that you guys would be able to understand. So right now I am considering my audience, my viewers, all of you, so that you guys can understand my lecture properly. So hopefully this point is also clear to you, and I want you to implement it in your life. So we usually say that try to use easy words and all. Do not use that much difficult words that you cannot even pronounce. So try to use you can say the normal vocabulary that everybody understands. So let's move on to the next point. That is concreteness. Concreteness, concrete. This word came from concrete. Concrete means the strongest thing. Okay, so it means be very clear in thought and expression and must based on facts and figures during writing a message. Okay, so as they are saying, there are three important points that we need to keep eye on them. Use specific facts and figures. Put action in your verbs. Choose vivid image building words. Okay, so you need to be vivid and clear about your ideas, whatever you are writing, that should be based on the facts and figures. For example, if I say If I am going to say anything, that should be proven, that should be based on the facts and figures. This is what they are all talking about. So let's move on to the next point and let's see what do we have. Yeah, clarity. As I said earlier, I am talking to all of you. I am delivering a lecture. I am considering all of my audience and I am trying to make my voice audible and clear so that you all would be able to understand. So same thing you guys have to do whenever you are talking to anyone. For example, when any person belongs to Karachi talk to a person who belongs to Lahore or Punjabi person, it is quite difficult for Punjabi person to understand the person who belongs to Karachi because they speak a little bit, you can say, faster than usual persons. So and their accent is also a little bit difficult. They do not consider themselves, they do not consider that to whom we are talking to, they are just keep talking in their own tone. So that goes against the rules of effective communication, and we all are here in order to make our communication effective and effective day by day. So let's read out this slide. What does it say? Using words that are familiar to the message of the receiver. For example, just imagine my slide contains a lot of synonyms and difficult words that you can't even read. I cannot even, you can say, pronounce. So what is going to happen? The lecture is going to destroy. So same thing they are saying that whenever you are talking to someone, use easy words, easy, understandable words to the receiver. So we have to consider at this point as well to whom we are talking to. Okay, what kind of vocabulary the other person is going to understand. So same as if I give you a very rough example, when we are talking to a dog, so we try to talk to into his, you can say, language. We are like so same, it varies according to person and the personality. So let's see some examples that says choose precise, concrete and familiar words, construct effective sentence and paragraphs. So it is time to move on to the next slide. Courtesy, yeah, it is the most important rule, or you can say thing that you should obey. Either you are talking to someone who is respectable for you or who is a kid, either whoever you are talking to. Just talk with kindness, politeness. Courtesy means be kind to the people to whom you are talking to. Either you are aggressive or angry, whatever condition you are going on or facing, but be polite to everybody. I usually try to be polite to everyone, but you can say, so this is all I would suggest you to be polite. Okay, so if let me read it for you. Being aware not only of the perspective of others, but also their feelings. It stems from sincere you attitude. Okay, so be sincerely tactful, thoughtful, and appreciative. Use expressions that show respect. Yeah, this is the most important point. Use expressions that shows respect. Let me give you an example regarding this point. If you want to say someone to close the door, so there are two options you have. One of them is, hey buddy, close the door. Another one is, would you please close the door? So these are the two expressions you should go with. Would you please? Try to add this in your every sentence. Would you please do me a favor? Would you please bring me a glass of water? Would you please do it for me? I need your favor. So try to use these kind of expressions and try to show respect. No matter to whom you are talking to, everybody deserves respect. And there is a saying that says, do respect, have respect. Choose non-discriminatory expressions. Yeah, try not to criticize anyone, try not to, you can say, use any kind of vocabulary or post or anything that brings discrimination. against anything. It can be against anything, caste and creed, color, or something like that. So let's move on to the next and probably the last point of today's lecture. Correctness. Okay, so if I talk about the British one, they are the man of the rules. They are like nobody is allowed to make any kind of mistake regarding the pronunciation, regarding any kind of, you can say, the spelling mistake or pronunciation mistake or any kind of punctuation mistakes. They are not ready to accept any of them. Whereas if I talk about the American one, they are like English is a medium of communication. If you are talking and you are able to convey your message and other person is able to understand it, that's it. You don't need perfection. Okay, so it was a story that I wanted to share with you. So let's come to the point, correctness. What does it say? Definition. Definition says it is proper check on grammar, punctuation, and spelling. Let's see some points they have written. Use right level of language, check accuracy of figures, facts, and words, maintain acceptable writing mechanics. So there are some fonts or there are some styles, writing or speaking styles as well. It depends on formal, informal. When you are at your organization or at your office, use the formal language. When you are with your friends or sibling, you can use informal language. But respect the point of respect that is to be adoptable everywhere. Okay, guys, so let's see. Do we have any other slide? Hopefully, you have learned something new. Okay, so as conclusion says that after knowing the seven C's and using them help you to become a better communicator. So that was the objective of today's lecture, and hopefully you guys are going to achieve it. And this lecture is going to help you out in order to make yourself a better communicator. If not now, then in future. What you have to do is to just give your best. And if you really like the video, if you think you have learned something new, then like our video or subscribe our channel for more videos like this. Thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much for watching us and being a part of Language Learners. Allah Hafiz, stay blessed.